Sorry.
Yeah. No, we don't have that. We're missing two.
That's what that says.
I think that's missing one. He was just here.
Where are you?
There he is. There he is.
Everything else.
I thought you were in Colorado.
No.
Weren't you out there? Was last week you were out there?
Did you give me one?
All right, so.
Out there.
So you took the orange.
Okay.
We're going to call to order this city council regular business meeting for Thursday, May 2nd, 2024. It is 6 p.m. Lindsay, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Baker. Brown.
Here.
Poole.
Here.
Livingston. Here. Minneke.
Here.
Mayor Phillips.
You have a quorum, so we will move on. Item number 2 is the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Item number 3 is approval of the agenda. Would anybody like to move any of the consent agenda items to the regular agenda? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Okay, motion by Livingston. We're gonna give the second to Brown. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Motion carries. Item number 4. Tonight, we have presentation from the Grand Stay Hotel developers. Holly, would you like to do some introductions?
Sure.
Come on up.
Notes here, so I want their titles. I've known Julie for a long time. Actually, look back at our original communications. We've been working on this project.
Approaching 3.
Yeah, we're approaching 3. So we have the president of Grand Stay Hospitality, John Kennedy. And then we have Doug Carlson with DCD. I'm not sure what all that stands for, but I know you're on the construction management side, correct? And then Julie Brown, who's the VP of franchise sales and development for Grand Stay Hospitality. And just a really brief background on this project, what we've been working on for a long time, 2.5 years now or so. Julie came forward and she said, Norwalk is on the radar. We definitely want to build a nice hotel in Norwalk. We'll see what's going on. We started working. As you all know, we don't always have the quickest method when it comes to some of our sites and just moving forward with on land. I know Ryan's had a little bit of that experience as well, but I would say probably next to Ryan, Julie has been the most dedicated person to try to get this project done. The hotel is beautiful. The amenities are great. It's about the same scope as our other 2 hotels that we have underway. So from that, I think I'll just give it over to you guys to give you more presentation. And we haven't, last thing, I'm sorry, we haven't developed what the incentive package will be exactly yet. We're working on that. And we're still kind of working through internally on what that would look like. And a lot will depend on where they end up with their site. So other than that, we're just going to invest in it. So
Great.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening, and Mayor, thank you. We appreciate the offer. The team of people, it's a beautiful city. I've been here about, it's my 5th visit. It's a neat area. It's growing. It's you get probably the most impressive recreational area I've ever seen anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm a guy that's been around the hotel industry for about 55 years, and basically I've traveled all over the country, and it's nice to see the progression that we see here. It's very nice. I'm very, very.
A good start.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The Grand Stay, we're based out of White Bear Lake, Minnesota. We're in about a 6-state area. We're more of a boutique concept, and we're in a lot of communities like your community out throughout the upper Midwest. One that really strikes mind that's very similar, somewhat, I think, maybe it's a little bigger, is Apple Valley, Minnesota. We're in the downtown district area of Apple Valley and have grown and have been an anchor for that community for many a year now, and we do extremely well. Grand Stay is known for an extended stay product. We're essentially composed, our composition is these rooms with the kitchenettes, and we attract a lot of family unit, a lot of activities such as that. And with the recreational market that I see here, this would be a great fit for this type of a product. We've been around for about 20 years now, a little over 20 years. We're a privately held company. I'm one of the principals of the company, and we essentially like being in these types of communities. Now, I gave you a little bit of a handout here, why Grand Stay. We do have prototypical plans, but we like to fit that product to your community. We're one of the few hotel chains that does that. Now, you've got a beautiful hotel up the street that's under development right now, and it's a lovely Marriott product. We would supplement and complement that very nicely. It's a well-built product, and you can't beat Marriott. They're one of the best in the industries, but you can't beat Grand Stay either, because we're one of the best in the industry, in my opinion. We're just smaller. We provide all the same services that they do. We have a lot of assistance for our developers. Doug Carlson would be the potential developer here. And in the area of design, we have preferred vendors that work very closely with him. We like to buy locally. We tend to, and Doug does that too. He likes to buy things from the local community, and that's what we're really known for. We do have a central reservation system that's a state of the art. I'll put it up against Marriott's reservation system that pulls in reservations worldwide. And we have just that for a small chain. We probably have one of the most sophisticated. It's called Sabres and Nexus, and it's a tie-in to probably one of the best reservation systems in the industry right now. A lot of the big guys do that. We can provide that for more of a boutique concept for the extended stay market better than anybody. We train, we do a lot of training. We have a tremendous amount of marketing support. When we market the community, we market the community. We're not, all these big guys are throwing their money towards advertising on the East Coast or the West Coast and all that kind of stuff. But basically, we go after the local markets. We do a lot of electronic advertising, which is the way to do it in this industry in this day and age. And we excel at that. We do have a grand returns program. It's an affinity loyalty program, and it's incentive to travelers. It's very competitive to all the big guys out there also. And so it's really, we've got a lot of ongoing support that goes on for our franchisees. We're a smaller company, so we can give a lot more attention than some of the bigger brands can. Now, bigger brands claim that they can get a wider array of customers, but you'll find out that there's a trend of customers that come from the upper Midwest here. And generally, that's probably 90% of the customers where they're going to come from. A lot of it's going to come from events and activities that are generated in your community. And we work closely with a lot of these folks. As far as the amenities and programs that we have, you'll see a pool and a rural pool, a pretty good size. It depends on the market and on how many units we eventually do put in. We've been looking in the 70 unit range at this point. We do have an exercise facility, a complimentary Grand Start breakfast. It's a very, very good breakfast, well respected in the industry. We do have meeting rooms. We do have premium bathroom amenities. We have the Grand Returns program, as I mentioned. We have a premium coffee program, and basically the kitchenettes are very, very popular with us, both for the business crowd as well as the family unit. And that's just a quick overview of what we've done. There are a lot of other grand stays that are similar in nature to this market that we're in, and I could talk forever about those, but if you have any questions, we can do that a little later. I'd like to introduce Doug Carlson. Doug is, it's called DCD. It's Douglas Carlson Development. He's been around forever and has developed all kinds of products and hotels and apartment complexes and everything. He's a developer and a contractor. And we've been working with Julie on this project since, and with Doug since day one. And I'll have Doug kind of give you a little bit more about him right now. So Doug, podium's yours.
Thank you, John. Mayor, City Council. Doug Carlson Development. We're building a project right now in Johnston, just north. We just finished one in Algona. And before that, it was one in Rock Valley, Iowa. This project here, we're looking at 76 units, 4-story building. 56 units would be suites for the extended stay. We've got, Julie's got a couple pieces of land we're looking at. And I can go through my whole performa, but the history's there and I don't want to bore you. We built a lot of stuff, apartments and hotels and big boxes. So basically with the price of labor right now, price of material, you know, and the interest rate that's right at the top to make these projects work. There is a need for the city to help to make this a feasible project. I mean, it's got down to that. Start time, the earliest would be late fall, early spring, if we can put something together. And I don't know what else I can, you know, if you've got construction questions. Great.
And we also have a hotel in Ames, Iowa. It's an old Chicago that's connected to it. So we have a pretty good presence in the great state of Iowa. We really want to grow more here. And that's our intention is this Johnson project. It's a beautiful 4-story building and it's right next to the city hall up there. If you have a chance to get up there, please do and take a look at it. The Algona property, Pharmacist Mutual headquarters, international insurance company in the pharmacy business that's actually based in Algona, Iowa. And they're our franchisee there. And they built a beautiful, beautiful campus or hotel next to their campus there. So we've got a few more that we're looking at throughout the state right now. And we're a chain that's going to grow. It's unique. We're not driven by Wall Street, and basically we like being in small to medium size or new growth areas such as your community.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I do think you're in good hands with Holly. So what?
Well, she's done a wonderful job of, I tell you, I have to go off record and say, this lady is probably one of the sharpest people we've dealt with. And that says a lot for me because I've been all over the country working with people and she's
We don't want anyone to know.
Yeah,
very, very much so.
appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. Any questions?
Any other questions?
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for coming. Thank you very much for coming.
These slides really quickly.
Yeah.
Some snapshots of some of our.
This would be a franchised hotel then, or a company owned.
This would be franchise.
Franchise,
Yeah.
okay.
We don't own, as a brand, we're strictly a pure franchise.
Oh, okay.
We provide essential services to our franchisees. Doug and his group would be the potential owners. He's got an investor group that he works with.
Okay.
But you can see, they're very contemporary, very unique properties. We even have bars and we try to keep people stabilized by providing that as an amenity. And it might be either beer or wine bars or full liquor bars. So the suites, I think we're getting to those, or did we go by? I wasn't paying attention. Okay. This is a kitchenette type situation that we have here. You can see very unique. Now, all of them have this type of a pool. And we do have some event centers and a number of our properties also. Here we will have a pretty good sized meeting room projected, and that's about it at this point. So that's a quick little tour.
It's like you can probably bring a lot to the community, so we look forward to talking to you.
Great, thank you
All right.
very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda, we have some proclamations. First is Municipal Clerks Week, May 5th through the 11th. Then we have Public Service Week, which is May 5th through the 11th. We have an Economic Development Week, which is May 6th through 10th. And National Police Week is May 12th through the 18th. So you can look at the agenda or the packet and read what those are. Plus, we'll have them out on social media closer to the dates. Item 6 is welcome of guests and public comment. We welcome any input or questions or not questions, any input to council or to address council for non-agenda items. We'll give you a 3-minute time limit. Realize we can't take action or debate with you on these items since they're not on the agenda. Also, if you'd like to comment on any item in the consent agenda, now would be the time. So anybody want to address council? I think that's your time. Come on up and identify yourself and
All right, 3 minutes, okay. I'm Anastasia, I'm with DR Horton. I've met quite a few of you, so nice to see you again. Pretty much just coming here tonight to request to look at the ordinance, which I think a few of us had discussed in our drive, requiring the 440 square foot garage for all product types, twin homes, townhomes, single family homes. As I explained to a few of you in our drive, this ordinance kind of puts a hinder on builders in regards to some of the product type that we can bring to the community. And as you know, DR would like to come to your community a little bit more and offer more product types for the middle class. Just a few things that I was just looking at today to bring to, I guess, the attention, and not to say that this ordinance is creating this issue, but overall, in the market, in the metro area, there's been a 4.6% permit pulling drop. And then if you look at Norwalk from 2022 to 2023, Norwalk's permit pool has dropped 21.6%. And again, not to say that the ordinance is creating this, but I think some of it does apply to that. Because I know that a lot of not just DR Horton, but other spec builders, it's hard to come into a city that requires that type of ordinance to be able to still drive what they're driving, which majority of the builders are trying to drive affordability. There's lot sizes that are being approved at a 55 foot lot. And then you go and put a product on there that requires a 440 square foot garage, the facade goes away. The building itself just looks a little bit wonky, which it just doesn't drive the sales. Trying to do a townhome product with a 440 square foot garage is very complicated because then the front of your house looks like a garage. Twin homes, you have the same issue. So I guess just, I mean, in 3 minutes, we're not going to be able to go over everything or any proposals, but I would like to get the chance to be able to work and provide you guys more information on my findings and see if there's something that we can work around to adjust that ordinance.
All right. So at the end of our meeting, one of our agenda items at the end of the meeting is I asked council if they want to discuss any, put anything, items onto the agenda. At that point in time, they could, if council wants to, they could vote to put that on the agenda.
Okay.
So, and then I think Luke will know
Yeah.
if you don't want to stay, because this is, our meetings are very
I mean, it
exciting.
was pretty exciting. I was in another council meeting this morning. I'd love to say.
So if you don't want to stay, Luke can let you
Okay.
know what
Great.
happens.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right. Sounds
All right.
good. Well, thank you.
thank you. Anybody else? Okay, we'll go without you. Item number 7 is consent agenda. We have expenditures, tax abatements. We have the April 18th, 2024 minutes of the regular city council meeting. We have the April 23rd, 2024 minutes of the special city council meeting. We have a special event application for the Love of Norwalk Family Fair and 5K. We We have a resolution to approve change order number 15 and change order number 16 for sheet metal work at the City State Bank Norwalk Fieldhouse. We have a resolution to approve change order number 17 to add a floor drain in concessions area at the City State Bank Norwalk Fieldhouse. We have a resolution approving the fiscal year 25 salary matrix. We have a resolution approving a field ride-along agreement with Des Moines Area Community College. A resolution accepting the Dunn Property Plat 1 public infrastructure and releasing the performance surety. We have a resolution accepting a grant from Warren County Philanthropic Partnership. We have a resolution setting May 16th, 2024 for a public hearing for the fiscal year 2024 budget amendment. We have a resolution approving the promissory note and mortgage and contract for the Norwalk Rehabilitation Program project for 609 Snyder Avenue. A resolution approving the promissory note and mortgage and contract for the Norwalk Rehabilitation Program project for 4469 Oak Creek Drive. We have a resolution approving AIA documents C-132 and A-232, pretty specific, with KEM contracting for the City Hall remodel project. So those are the construction manager and general conditions of the contract agreements. A resolution confirming and levying assessments for curb stop waterline repairs for property located at 4726 Devlin Drive. A resolution confirming and levying assessments for curb stop waterline repairs for property located at 4644 Wakanda Drive. A resolution accepting a sanitary sewer temporary construction easement for a sanitary sewer perpetual easement for the Maple Heights Sanitary Sewer Project. We have a resolution accepting perpetual sanitary sewer easements and temporary easements for construction for the North River Sewer Interceptor Project. A resolution agreement for payment of excess amount for loss of future use of property regarding the North River Sewer Interceptor Project. And we have a resolution approving an agreement obtaining funding through the Iowa Department of Transportation's Revitalize Iowa's Sound Economy, or RISE program for the Delaware Street Extension Project. And we have correspondence. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Cool, seconded by Meineke. Lindsay, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Cool,
Yes.
Livingston, Minneke,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 8. Old and new business for consideration, discussion, and possible action. Item A is resolution initiating a zoning amendment referring the proposal to the Norwalk Planning and Zoning Commission and setting a public hearing regarding the proposal to rezone 912 North Avenue from R4 high-density residential to infill plan unit development with R4 uses. So this starts the process. Could you? Yep. Oh, thank you. This starts the process of a rezoning at 912 North Avenue, and that is on the screen. So you notice that that's kind of across the library and across from the library and across from Norwalk City Park on North Avenue. Luke, anything to add?
Yes, so we received this request late last week and worked with the developer on their proposal to get a better understanding of it early this week. And wanted to get this on your agenda for consideration. So apologize for the kind of late notice for that. But we wanted to keep that moving and get an answer for this this gentleman. Peter Cutler is a developer that worked on the Center North development. That's actually just to the east of this. It's the 5 houses there that got replatted out of the old farmstead that was there. Those eventually were built by a different company, but he did the development work on them. And so he's looking at acquiring the property at 912 North Avenue. It's got an interesting zoning history. The house is quite old, built in 1917. The surrounding area developed a decent amount later than that in the 70s and 80s. And in the 90s, our zoning ordinance changed to have this corner, the 2 houses south of it, and the apartment complex to the west as kind of one large R4 chunk of high-density residential opportunity. Best I could guess there is that there were some thoughts at some point that there would be a redevelopment opportunity on North Avenue, and they wanted to give some higher density things on one of our main streets. So that's what it sits zoned right now. Elliot, our planner, put together hopefully a useful table for you all under zoning history that talks about what it currently allows. And then what they're proposing under an infill PUD, which is primarily dimensionally related to setbacks. And then the number of units would kind of fall in the middle of, right now, there's could be 4 townhomes on it or 6 multi-family units in an apartment configuration. And he's proposing to do 5 townhomes. So it would be a tweak to the density of a multi-family dwelling unit, but it wouldn't exceed the maximum density of the property. So that's what he's looking to do. This would start that process, and we would notify neighbors. We would strongly encourage him to talk to the neighbors and do that whole public process if you wished to initiate it.
Just so that this is. I just want to get this out. So if council doesn't approve it, the developer can still begin the rezoning by getting a petition signed by the neighbors. Is that correct?
Yes, 50% of the property owners within 200 feet. I've not, one of the unique things about this one that I've not had a chance to talk to our attorney about with, because I wanted to come here and see what we decide to do with it, but I think 50% of the property within 200 feet is city property. So that's a unique thing to consider because 200 feet would go into the park, go into the library property. So we may be asked that question again at some point. Right. So.
Okay. And just so you know, I'm gonna ask that question every time we do.
That's quite all right.
So that's-
I will
Okay.
be prepared.
Any discussion or comments from council?
So this is already R4.
Correct. Right now, a small apartment building could be put on the lot. The density that the lot would allow would be 6 units. So 6 apartment units is the max that could fit on there.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else? Or any public comment?
Are there garages in the back of that? I couldn't tell, but from the picture, what are the garage situations for this?
For his proposal?
Yeah.
He was proposing, and I don't believe, he didn't get us the exhibit to put with the agenda, but what we had seen in our kind of pre-app meeting with him was something that would have a drive that came off the center street and the garages at the back of the unit. And then along North Avenue, which is why he's asking for the shorter setback on North Avenue, it would be like house front onto North Avenue. The exhibit on the map right now, the highlighted thing just shows what the house is right there, which that house doesn't have a garage. It's got a driveway that comes off of North Avenue. And it's just a house with a short setback right now. Oh, there are. Well, there you go. I apologize. That's not in my staff report.
Well, there you
Got it
go.
in your guys'
There you
staff
go.
report. I clicked on the one in the agenda. I don't know what happened.
We got connection.
You know people. Apparently I know.
Garage on the back.
Yeah, so garage on the back, house front on the front on North Avenue.
Other questions? Anybody want to make a motion to approve resolution?
So I'm not really in favor of doing it this way. This is I think, a substantial change to that area. And I think we should have more input from
Neighbors?
the surrounding neighbors.
Okay.
This is my opinion about it.
Fair.
Are they not notified anyway? What would be the notification? That's what my actual question is.
If we
Right, notification through the zoning process.
initiation of the rezoning, our next step would be to send them a notice of rezoning. The property owner would have to put a sign up on the property. We'd send that to the same people within 200 feet. And then they would be invited to our planning commission public hearing and then the council public hearing.
And that's what yours.
That's what I would like for this, it's a significant change in that area.
And I think one thing, like we've said, so you understand, is that the city is probably pretty close to the 50% mark on that. So, it'll probably come back before the council to decide whether you want the city to consent to this, which is kind of interesting, that you'll step foot into the property owner. So I think the city council is gonna control whether it gets rezoned or not, because you're gonna have to consent to the rezoning of the property owner at that
Right,
point.
and don't misunderstand me, I am not voting against this. I would just like the opportunity for people around to be notified so that they can
Yep.
give their input.
And,
Whether
and
they
that'll always
or
happen.
not,
Yep.
Right,
part
I
of the
would
process.
like to
Yep.
have their input before I wanna go forward with it.
And that'll always, so this is just deciding to go through that process or not.
Right.
Okay, okay,
Right.
just,
That's what I'm saying, I wanna go.
You wanna
through
go through the
that
process. Okay.
That's what I'm
Yep.
saying.
yep, we never have a rezoning that didn't go through the process.
So our vote tonight, if we affirm this, would be to begin that process.
Correct.
Correct.
Begin the process with our initiation of a rezoning, as opposed to make them go
And get a petition.
the other way and get a petition.
Yep, but either way, we still end up with the city notifying them of the public hearings will hold.
Either way, yeah.
Either way.
Yeah, but I don't think she's asking that. She's just asking as opposed to city council initiating, that she like the property owner.
That's what I'm asking for. That's what my vote.
Okay. So anybody want to make a motion to approve the resolution as presented in the package?
Is there a savings of time by just doing it this way? I mean, it kind of looks like it's inevitably down to our vote.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, there's savings of time because you're initiating it tonight versus initiating it in 2 meetings. This next meeting, you come back before you as a property owner to agree to it, and then the meeting after that would be, the council, it still comes to the council, you want to say property owner initiated, but.
I don't think it's to our benefit to get rid of this. I
And
would
I-
make
and
a
I'm not,
motion for
yeah,
that.
I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
not. I'm
I
just
would
not
make a
sure it's to our
motion, but-
benefit to put this in. I don't know.
I'd move to go ahead with this.
I'll second it.
Okay. So I got a motion by Baker, second by Brown. Any further discussion?
I guess since it looks like it's gonna be our decision anyway, in the end is property. Right? It would appear that. That it probably makes it mute about getting the input of the public on the front end.
Well,
Otherwise-
it might affect our decision a little bit, kind of listening to people, which will be part of the process anyway.
Yeah, that's right, the
And we'll
process,
hear.
but I mean. We'd be going to ourselves for an opinion to start the process.
But not only ourselves.
Yeah, that's right. Otherwise, I would agree with you. It'd always be better to get the people's opinion. But I'll go ahead and vote,
Okay. Lindsay, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Livingston,
No.
Minneke,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Cool.
yeah.
All right, motion carried. Item 8B. It's the final reading of an ordinance amending the comprehensive plan of the city of Norwalk, Iowa by changing land at 8800 County Line Road, Gracie Lane from future agricultural reserve to commercial industrial flex. So at our last meeting, council approved the second reading for this amendment to our comprehensive plan to allow commercial industrial flex at 8800 County Line Road. Luke, you got anything to add?
Nothing new.
All right, any discussion, comments from council or any public comments?
Motion?
Second?
Okay, motion by Livingston, seconded by Baker. Lindsay, would you call roll?
Councilmember Minneke,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
Livingston.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 8C. It's final reading of an ordinance amending the official zoning map of the city of Norwalk, Iowa by rezoning 8800 County Line Road, Gracie Lane from RE1, single family rural estates to C1 community commercial. At our last meeting, council approved the second reading for this zoning change at 8800 County Line Road to C1 community commercial. Luke, you got anything to add?
Nothing new.
Any discussion, questions from council or public comment? Can I get a motion to approve the final reading?
Second?
I'm good. Motion by Baker, seconded by Livingston. Any further discussion? Lindsay, would you call a roll?
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Minneke.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 8D. It's final reading of an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance of the city of Norwalk, Iowa related to the regulations, definitions, and terminology for these cities' floodplain development regulations. So at our last meeting, we approved the second reading for this change to our floodplain development regulations. Luke, you got anything to add?
Nothing new.
Come on.
All right.
Come up.
Sorry, I'm just
Bring
not
us
exciting this
something
time.
Exciting, final time.
Any discussion or comments or questions from council or any public comment? Can I get a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Motion by Baker, seconded by Brown. Any further discussion? Lindsay, would you read the roll? Would you call the roll?
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
sorry, didn't mean to do that while you were drinking.
That's okay.
Cool,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Minneke,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 8E is final reading of an ordinance amending the official zoning map of the city of Norwalk, Iowa by amending the Hughes Century Crossing Plan Unit Development Land Use Parcel E, allowing 7.73 acres north of Chatham Avenue and east 18th Street to permit those uses as allowed in Land Use Parcel G and permit water tower as a principal use. So at our last meeting, council approved second reading it's mostly for the water tower, I think, but so we can put a water tower up there. So Luke, you got anything to add?
For water tower and for the commercial development that we've got proposed at the new extension of East 18th North. So, so we got some commercial going along with it.
Thank you. All right, any discussion, comments questions from council or public comment?
Motion.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, motion by Livingston, seconded by Brown. Any further discussion? Lindsay, would you call a roll?
Councilmember Cool,
Yes.
Livingston.
Yes.
Minneke,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 9, future agenda items. So the purpose of this is for council to give direction to staff by way of motion to have items placed on future agendas. This is not for discussion of the merits of the subject matter. So does anybody want to look into the garage size change request from DR Horton?
Again.
Again.
No. No.
No? No? Okay, anybody have anything else? All right, moving on. Item number 10, council inquiries and staff updates. 2028 Norwalk Strategic Vision Update and a sewer capacity update. Luke.
Yeah, first one is more of it's kind of a fun thing that we were working on the budget message that goes in our full budget document. And we like to give updates on council strategic vision. So we went back to the old document that had benchmarks identified in 2019 and 2020, and we thought we probably need to update that. And as we were formally updating that, we saw how many of these items we felt we could comfortably check off our list. Our trail connection that we had to the Great Western Trail, continuing to maintain our tight-knit friendly neighborhoods. Our town center concept, we're already seeing retail building out along Chatham, along with our full service rec complex, safest city, and a vibrant downtown. So really neat to see some of these things coming forward. I don't know that I would have guessed we would be at this level prior to 2028 for a full service rec complex and seeing Chatham Avenue starting to build out. So pretty cool stuff. So the next step in our goal setting, the mayor has talked to me a few times about when we're going to initiate goal setting. And what we're trying to finalize is when we will do our next community survey, which just today, Holly's been working with her staff to line up when all that can happen. It looks like as of about July 1, they could get started with sending out the community survey. It's about a 4-month process. That means if we wanted to wait until we get those current surveys back from our citizens before you do goal setting, we would need to plan goal setting for probably late October into November. So no decisions, but Mayor, I just figured I'd share that with you, with the rest of the group on what that looks like. Excellent.
Okay, sewer.
Yes, so the other item that I have, primarily just words on this one, that you would have saw in your packet, but Tony also sent me a map to go along with it. And the reason that I wanted to bring this up, at a recent council meeting, Steve Gelati, representative of, road contractors, he was here at a meeting talking about the easements that we're trying to obtain for Maple Heights. And if you recall, one of Steve's main hangups, and he was very clear in saying he was okay with the easements, it was the amount of sewer capacity that would be supplied to North Shore. And there was some good debate, discussion back and forth on, he wanted some kind of a guarantee. Hey, Steve, that's not something we can do. And I have to say, give a lot of credit to Tony. Tony was able to go back, and despite even some of those discussions, he was able to, he talked with Jim, Wayne, about what could we put in a document to Steve to help give him enough comfort on the whole capacity issue. So what you saw in that, the packet, what he put together in a letter was sent to Steve, and ultimately he was satisfied with that. That made him comfortable, which was great. But the main reason I wanted to bring it up is to let council know, and I even had to admit this to Steve, we learned quite a bit going through that process. Tony, myself, Jim, Wayne, all of us learned quite a bit going through the process, so I do need to give Steve some credit. Maybe it was a little frustrating going through that process, which I told him as well, but ultimately we did learn going through that process. So I think that that's a positive thing. The only other thing that I have is we're leaving for DC next week. And I think I showed this last time. We have, should pop up there. This is our document that we plan on presenting to each one of our delegates. With our main priority item being that Southwest corridor. This document has been sent off to each of the congressional delegates' staff. We decided to get that in front of them ahead of time and say, hey, are there any hot button items maybe we should not bring up that are just going to cause more frustration? We got a lot of positive feedback, and ultimately there were no red flags, but they just had some clarification questions for us. Luke is working on some good responses. One of their questions was about our NRCS easement and regulatory support. And I'm going to guess you went through, what, 100 pages of the federal documents trying to figure out.
Shockingly, I Googled the program and federal code and it came up the first time.
That's excellent.
I thought I was going to have to, read a lot of federal code to find that. So
Part of
I don't take a lot of credit.
Thank you for doing that anyway, doing that research. So we plan on going to them so that we could specifically say, hey, if you're looking for the very code section where you might want to add this sentence that says, hey, before you establish one of these conservation easements, send a letter to the city and tell them what you're about to do. So their city can be aware of it and say, hey, that's where we want to put a future sewer. Seems like a simple solution, but we think that that's something that being that precise, maybe that'll help us get somewhere with our delegates. So if you have any questions, other comments about this, you can let me know now or send me an email before we head off on May 8th. That's all I have.
And we are leaving early. So
So at this moment, you can't get through a conservation easement property with a sewer then, or how's that?
Not without jumping through 18 to 24 months of hoops.
Oh,
And we're approaching 36 at this point.
that's what we're doing.
18 to 36 months.
So we may revise that to 48 depending on how.
Wow.
Lots of challenges. We're having to, some of the land that we're purchasing from the Dunn family, we have to swap out acres of easement. Quite a few hoops to jump through where we could have easily, if we were notified ahead of time, we could have said, hey, there's going to be another sewer running through this land, and we could have reserved that a long time ago.
all right. Nothing else?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Summary of the 2023-2024 winter operations costs. Wayne.
Thank you, Mayor.
As some of you know, we track our winter labor and equipment materials costs. We've summarized this past year's report. We had a reduction in number of events, but the cost per event did go up. We just had those two big storms that kind of skewed the numbers a little bit. So just some numbers, some data in there for you to review.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, thanks. Anything else?
Yeah, one other thing, the contractor at Chatham Avenue said their contractor has the new signal poles at their yard. They were gonna go up today, but the weather's delaying all our projects, so hopefully next week the poles go up and they'll start programming and testing. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you. Jim?
No.
Brian?
I'd like to throw out a special thanks to Lindsay and Wayne and Jim for putting up with our neighborhood meeting on the ridge. It was we had a few people that were disrespectful that I was embarrassed for. Appreciate their efforts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
George?
Nothing.
Ed?
Hey, good city school meeting, I thought.
Yeah.
Real smooth, very productive.
Yep.
Otherwise, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Luke?
A couple things, 32 residential permits this month, so that puts us on track a little bit ahead of where we are for our 5-year running average, so that's good. We're not quite to where we were for our peak year of 2022, so but we've got good growth going as far as residential permits go. A lot of mowing nuisance complaints in the last week or so, and really more than normal for some reason, and when we're driving around, we're seeing more of them that we're looking at. So I don't know what's going on, but tell your friends and family to mow their lawns, please. We would appreciate that. Luke mentioned this a little bit under some of the sewer capacity stuff, but in our consent agenda, we had a couple big easements on there, and I just wanted to circle back to that because those are linchpin projects to making sure we've got good growth in our northern area of the community and on the southern area of the community. They're both things that are really going to set the stage for a lot of the stuff we're going to be doing over the next decade. So just wanted to memorialize that. And I know Tony worked a lot on those. We're appreciative of all his work on that as well. Really a big thing to get those done. And then lastly, another kind of big picture thing on the strategic vision, we get big check marks on that rec complex and town center. And I think back to when we did our sub-area 1 plan in 2016, which was based on the 2013 comp plan goals. And the consultants at the time were telling us that town center idea in Norwalk, that's a long shot play. You might be looking 10, 15, 20 years before somebody decides that that's viable in Norwalk. And to drive out there and seeing stuff get built now, I think it's a testament to all the initiative that we took as a city to develop a vision and to see that through and get it well ahead of those timelines that, again, people that do this stuff professionally for all kinds of cities across the state and country telling us, hey, good luck with that. Well, prove them wrong. So.
Before we move up, Luke, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but the numbers that Anastasia gave about being down 20-something% of something.
Yeah, that's from our
peak year in 2022.
2021 was our peak year. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Our 2022 number was down a substantial number from our peak year of 2021. 2022 was 212.
Mortgage rates.
2023 was 191. Our peak year of 2021 was 298.
Okay, so if you take out that peak year, how far down or up are we?
So our 5-year running average that I base everything off of is 214. So 2022 and 2023 were relatively within what our average we'd expect to be. And as I said, right now we're tracking 146% of the average through April. So that ebbs and flows throughout the year. I can't confidently say we're going to end at that because last year we were tracking ahead of time as well, and we ended up about 20 permits short of our average. So
I just wanted to put it in context.
Yep.
Thank you.
And that's with the double and tripling. Good point.
Right,
Yeah.
you can manipulate statistics to meet whatever point. I'm not saying anything ill about DR or Anastasia. I just wanted it in a context that I wanted it in, right? She got her contacts, I got my.
I,
contacts.
I update a spreadsheet that goes back to 2015 every month with the new numbers. So if you ever want to know what those percentages are, I try to always have them for you at a meeting, but if you ever want to dive deeper into that, just let me know and I'll happy to send you stuff.
Cool. Thanks. Carrie.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. Wait,
Nothing else.
you already did. Chief, sorry. Chief, sorry.
Nothing, thank you.
All right, Chief.
Yes, yesterday we interviewed police officer candidates. We had 11 officer or candidates come in. The panels picked 5 of the 11 for immediate further consideration and 1 for consideration if the 5 ahead of him. We're looking to fill 3 spots. One of those 5 is certified officer from another Iowa city. That seems pretty good. It was a good mix of people and I think we'll be able to get our 3 out of it.
Good,
So-
good. All right. Awesome. Thanks. Tony.
Well, as you heard, it was a good week requiring easements for 2 major sewer projects. So excited to get those to council and appreciate approving those on the consent agenda tonight to keep those projects moving forward. I'll just say, and also thank you, Luke Nelson, for providing that sewer capacity information to the council. When you have time, please read that too. It's good information in terms of our background and limitations as it relates to being a WRA community and served by those WRA sewers. So it's good information. And if you have any questions about that, please feel free to reach out to me. Thanks.
Thank you. And you usually sit over here.
Well, they said they had to put me next to the chief to keep me in line.
Keep you in line. That's probably a good idea. Thanks. Holly.
At the next council meeting, we'll finish up the urban renewal area amendment, which would add land into our. So we can capture the value and use that revenue towards other new projects in the community. And then along with that, one of the projects that's involved in that URA amendment is a done industrial condominium. So at the June 6th council meeting, whichever one's first in June, we will have a development agreement for the done industrial condominiums. It's a really cool project, and that's in the Dunn Industrial Park. So I always have to show you the shape of it, but it's a 40 acres chunked out of south of Delaware. So they're developing really well down there. They have a lot of projects underway, but this parcel will be just south of the storage project that's happening. So we have the front 2 parcels that are along the road, and those have 2 buildings. And then south of that is the storage project, and south of that then would be this condominium project. So it's pretty cool. So we'll have a development agreement on that agenda. And then we have the entrance monument sign finally moving forward. I die before that happens, but budgeted, planned, it was all about identifying the exact specifics. We have right of way. We've come to agreement amongst 60 different people, and it's going in. And then today Wayne talked to Mid-American about the power. It's kind of pricey to get power to it, but he's working with them to see if maybe they can partner up on getting the traffic lights. They have to bring power to the traffic light location anyway, and it's very close. So hopefully Wayne can work his magic there, but we're bringing it to you guys one way or another in the next council meeting, if it kills me. Next week, we'll have 4 press releases coming out. One will be about a very popular restaurant and pub coming to Norwalk, which we're super excited about. And we have 5 commercial parcels with prospects that either have a letter of intent or purchase agreements on them. So those will be announced soon as well. The Southwest Development Corridor is moving along at lightning speed at this point, kind of like Luke Paris mentioned, with us kind of breaking records on some of our other projects in terms of timing and getting these things done that nobody said we could get done in our lifetime. That Southwest Development Corridor is going to change the entire metro area. I don't care what anybody says, it's enormous. So things are going very well there. Thank you, Tony, for all the infrastructure work that you've been doing on that. Nutrisport development over by our water tower, it's moving along. That'll be a cool development. We did get another request from another data center, and we submitted a 19-acre parcel for that today from the state RFP. And then the collegiate basketball or collegiate baseball team was announced. We haven't done an official press release, but that's super exciting that we have this
coming to Norwalk. Norwalk's just got this famous thing in its blood. We had 24 Major League Baseball scouts here over the last couple of weekends. So a lot of attention in Norwalk about everything, especially the Norwalk Central Development. So this collegiate baseball team, they will be drawing a lot of people to Norwalk. And I know 3 years ago when we had that, those numbers brought to us from a third party study that said we'd have 1 million people a year coming in to Norwalk just for the sports campus as we knew it 3 years ago. Now with all these new components added in and this baseball stuff, major league things happening, I can't even imagine how many more people will have to run another study.
What is the collegiate baseball? What is that?
So it's called the Warren County Crop Dusters, which is cute. So the owners of Sportsplex, so Sportsplex USA, and they have a couple of different ownership groups like Musco and some others. They run 1A, AAA, several different programs around the metro and around a couple of different states. And so they've put together this team and they're recruiting players, and it's kind of like the Barnstormers. So
it's an established league and they're putting together a team that will be based out of Norwalk.
Yep, they'll play here, they'll play around the metro area, but this will be their location at our campus. So yeah, so pretty exciting. And then we did get the grant from Warren County Philanthropic Partnership for $25,000 to go for parks, so they can put some cool stuff in Norwalk Central Park. So
Thank you. Lindsay?
Survey work will begin for the Highway 28 fence wall project next week and the week after. So I sent letters to all 47 of those property owners. I've heard from about a third of them, and they are all over the moon excited and cannot
Nice.
wait. So I know that's only a third, so fingers crossed the other 2/3 feel the same way, but everybody's super pumped and said they never thought they would see it happen. So.
Yeah, awesome. Jason?
Nothing.
All right, I got 3 things. First off, I was privileged to go down to Indianola and receive the $25,000 Warren County Philanthropic Grant for Parks and Rec. That's awesome grant to get. We did a tour of the City State Bank field house with John Hala, Mayor of Ames. He was very impressed with the facility. And we also went out to the pods and saw the Amazon store and came back and showed him where Central Park was. And so he was there. They would like to try to do something like that up in Ames as well. So, and then on April the 24th was the Central Iowa Waterworks first board meeting. It was mostly organizational stuff, but Central Iowa Waterworks is off the ground and running. So, which is good for regional. All right. I take.
Who's our, is it Luke or you that's on the board?
I'm on.
You are?
And then George is the alternate. Yeah. All right. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Second.
Motion by Livingston, seconded by Brown. I didn't think we were gonna get one for a second there.
I-
Just like, all those in,
I tried.
all those in favor say aye. All opposed, same. We're adjourned, 6:58 PM.